Hello, and welcome to another episode of AWS Tech Tales. I'm your host, Matt Burke.
And I am your co-host, Samara Reaño. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back, everyone. So, today on this, I don't know, it's a pretty warm day in May here in New York City.
It
How's
is
your
a, it is
weather
a
over
warm
there?
day here in California too. A sunny California day.
So, we are fresh off a series of Athena and Glue and
Quick side.
QuickSight. And we are moving right along here at Tech Tales for a new story. And this is a story that I've been wanting to bring to the show for a while, and we couldn't quite get the demo working. So did a bunch of whiteboarding. But if you're new to Tech Tales, this is the show where we talk about real life customer issues, what you can do to solve them. But today, we're talking about something that customers don't generally get to do, get to test out without spending a bunch of money. Oh, hey, Dave Pirate. It's really cold in Seattle. Hey, Yuri Edits.
Oh, I
We
keep
keep clicking it. Keep clicking at each other. I'm gonna let Samara try.
Hey, it's really cold in Seattle. Oh, still, well, we have 80 in SoCal. Well, we're in the
Very
80s too here
jealous.
in the Bay Area, so I guess we're
Yeah,
in
I'm only
sync.
about 70s in
Yeah,
here.
you're not
But
quite there, Matt.
not quite there. So yeah, I don't know if all of you have ever thought about, there's a cloud up there, and how do I connect my stuff
Mm-hmm.
to the cloud without going over the dreaded internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a service for you, as you might see in the description. It's called Direct Connect, and it is one of the services that, hey,
Hello.
4T7AK, welcome to the show. It is one of the services that we've named that is exactly what it
What
does.
it does.
It directly connects you to AWS. But the problem is that most folks, unless you're in the networking operations side, or if you're in a large conglomerate or enterprise business, don't get to touch and feel Direct Connect.
Mm-hmm.
Because without getting a Direct Connect, it's kind of just like this theoretical thing that you can do, and you get asked questions on it for certifications, you get asked questions for it when you're architecting, but it's hard to touch and feel it. I don't know, Zamara, like what is your history with Direct Connect?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. It's like you have like the book knowledge of it, but you don't have the hands in action experience from actually doing it. So I agree with you 100%. It's one of those that you know about, but only on the surface, and you never really get to really deep dive into.
And that's the fun that we're gonna do today. So I'm gonna bring up a little diagram on the screen of what we're dealing with this afternoon or evening or even morning for some of you out there. We are gonna start with, we've got our on-premises data center over on the right.
Okay.
And we have a couple customer routers. And these customer routers are going to connect to our direct connects. So we're going to provision 2 direct connects today. We want to be fault tolerant. We want to be resilient. We want to have failover. And these direct connects are going to hit multiple VPCs within our AWS infrastructure. And we're going to connect through the transit gateway. So that is the simple place that we're going to start. Any questions about this architecture before we dive into it, either chat or Zamara?
Actually, you answered the question before I wanted to ask it when I was looking at the diagram, which was why would you want to establish 2 connections? But you got it right. You got it right from the start.
Okay. So the first thing that we've got to do in our setup journey is we got to create a direct connect gateway. So this is the gateway that basically connects this over here to this transit gateway here. So we'll do that. It's pretty quick. We're going to go over to Direct Connect. We see Direct Connect gateways. So we have some transit gateways already here. We have one transit gateway in US East 1, which we're going to connect to. We're going to create a Direct Connect gateway. And I'll be very simple, just DX. and it's going to ask you for your Amazon side autonomous system number. Now, folks in the chat, what the heck is this? What is an ASN?
I was gonna say, how do you find that one? Let's see if we have some networking folks join us today that know the ins of this. Oh, it's not agreeing with you. What's going on? Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah. So for folks that don't know, an ASN is part of BGP, the Border Gateway Protocol. So we will get into this in a little bit of what that means. But right now, you just need to know what your ASN is when you create a direct connect gateway.
Okay.
So very simple, and immediately it's available. So not that difficult, not that scary. And then what we're going to do is we're going to edit. Actually, no, we're not going to edit. We are going to click into this. We're going to associate this gateway with the transit gateway that
you already have established.
And we want to advertise these subnets to our direct connect gateway, right?
Okay.
So basically what we're saying to the transit gateway is if you need to reach a 172.30 and .31 address, go out this direct connect gateway.
Okay.
So that's the only pre-work that you kind of need to do to start to get your environment ready to support a direct connect.
Okay. That's pretty straightforward. No wait time either. It's pretty simple.
So it's associating. So it's taking, this part is taking a little bit of time.
A little bit of, okay.
So let's see if I refresh if it's ready yet. It's still dissociating. So while we're doing that, this is the secret sauce for our demo today, which is my connection portal. Now, normally when you are asking for a direct connect, you are working with a partner. And if we go to the direct connect web page, you can see that they are a ton of direct connect delivery partners out there. They can help set up either a dedicated connection or a hosted connection. And you can see when we go to pricing, like all the different rates for a direct connect. So you get an idea. But these are, let me find you the full, I'm scrolling real fast. I'm sorry. Location. So basically, you can get a direct connect across the world. Let's start with United States, for example. I've got, where I am in New York, I've got 165 Halsey in Newark. I have 2 core sites in New York. These are where I would connect my direct connect to if I had a workload that was, or data center that was in New York City. So you'd order this connection, right? And so for the purposes of our demo, I'm going to order a new connection. And this is the same type of information that you would need to provide to the provider or to AWS when you are ordering this connection.
Okay.
So I will fill this out here and I'll keep quiet while.
Yeah, and I'll share with everyone the FAQs for those of you that have never really looked into it.
So I have my router 1, which is, router 1. And then I get to pick my direct connect location. So in this scenario, I have a couple ports in Melbourne and I can have one in England. So I'm going to pick Melbourne for my first direct connect. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my second one. I'm going to do, well, not the same place, but to do England, and then we're auto selecting VLAN. So basically this is me ordering the direct connect. This is what it would kind of look like.
And I'm sorry, you navigated to this connection portal from where specifically? I think I missed that.
Oh, don't worry about this. Again, this is all for demo purposes. This is
Okay,
kind of
okay.
a fake portal.
Okay, got
This
you.
is just to give everyone a kind of a preview of what it would look like if you were ordering a new connection.
If you were ordering one. I see. Okay.
Yeah, this isn't like some standard secret page somewhere. So I've made these orders. I'm getting 2 50 meg direct connect lines. Awesome. So what happens when they are ordered?
What is the next step there?
So you can see I have it listed in my connections now that this is in the ordering phase.
So it has an eye on it. Is there like you click and then it just kind of gives you like a explanation of where it is in the process, or?
So what I've got to do is accept.
Oh, okay.
So we filled out an order. It's in my account, and then someone's got to go in and say, yes, this was what I wanted.
Okay.
I would like to have this in my account.
So this is kind of like the confirmation step after you do the setup. Okay.
So I will do accept on both of these. And now these are pending.
Okay.
So it's going to take a little bit for this to change state again. But now that I've got connections, I can create virtual interfaces.
Okay.
My VIF. So Zamara or chat, what are the 3 different types of VIFs I could create?
VIFs. Ooh. Let's see. You got me on that one.
Well, these are your options.
Let me see. Let me expand this. Private, transit, public. Okay.
So
you said VIT. I understood VIPs.
So yeah, we've got a private, public, transit. Why would I use a public VIF, Zamara? Do you know?
Can access all AWS public services using public. So it just goes publicly, right? You don't care where.
What services would I need to do that for example? I'm putting her on the spot.
Oh, geez. I'm thinking EC2.
Not EC2.
No,
that's
EC2.
Private.
Okay, yeah, you have me really on the spot.
So if I would use a public VIF if I was connecting to something like S3, which
I thought that was internet. That was the first one that I thought, but I was like, no, why would someone want to do it to S3 just like public?
Yeah, DynamoDB, that's another one. So again, we're doing this over the backbone, over Direct Connect, but it's on a public address. So
okay,
we're not using either of these. These are fun tests, things to think about when you're studying or you're trying to understand the best way for connectivity. But we are doing transit because what we want to do is transport the traffic from the Direct Connect gateway that we provisioned to the transit gateway that we provisioned.
Okay.
So we're linking those 2 things together.
Okay.
With this transit. So we have to create 2 of these now. We just created our connections here. So we have to create these 2 VIFs in order to continue. So I'm going to go, this is the one for router 1. I see I've got DX1, DX2.
Okay.
Got 1 direct connect gateway. And then I need to go check what was the VLAN 2231.
Oh, typo.
And then we have the autonomous system border number, which again is how we hear for BGP. And then we're going to do more settings here. So, for example, we are going to put in our router peer address. So again, this is what would be a public address or what is reachable from the Direct Connect router. And this is what is the peer. So basically it's my router, Amazon router, right? Like what is the Direct Connect connecting to?
Okay.
And then
sorry to interrupt you, Matt, but would you mind just kind of making your screen a bit of better?
Yeah,
that's better. Yep.
And then this secret authentication key. So again, if you're doing things, you want to be able to authenticate the make sure that basically BGP is kind of like a handshake. And so you want to make sure that you get the right password between them.
Okay.
And then there's some other optional stuff that we're going to ignore. But anyway, this is creating our virtual interface for router 1. So we'll create one for router 2. Oh, wait, hold on. I did the wrong. Give me one sec. Let me fix this. I put in the wrong values for this one. Hold on. That's why it's not coming up. Hold on.
Oh, it's not giving you the...
Let me just delete and recreate. Hold on. So I'll do it again. Put the wrong IP addresses in. So go back to our VLAN. 6501. And these are just normal private values.
You put 65001?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm going to put in the right IP addresses for my router. Oops. So this one's 2, this one's 1. Fun subnetting fact. That's because these are the only 2 that could reach each other. It's a point-to-point connection. And create. Oh. Hold on. I don't think the other one got deleted yet. Oh, and my 1Password keeps thinking that there's a password here. Hold on. What? All right, let's do the other one while we're waiting.
All right.
So same idea. We're just doing it for the second direct connect. This is the same. We got to use this VLAN, which is 1717. And 6501. 01. Okay.
All right. So now we just...
That one is pending. And now I'm just waiting for this one to come back. So give me one sec. All right, I want to also change the name to router 2, not DX2.
Okay.
Deleted. Perfect. So now we can do this over.
Router 1.
Now I'm going a little bit faster so we can get to the next point, which is way more fun. And here are the peers.
Okay. So you essentially will be the exact same ones, that 30?
They're different. The one's 164, 254, 200.2 and 1, and the other one is 100.
Oh, I see.
254, 100.
Yeah. I was just looking at the ending too. Never mind.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. /30 is just the size of the subnet, which is actually 2. Okay. So moving on.
All right. So essentially, for those viewers that just tune in, what did you just create right now? What are we accomplishing with this? With the steps?
So let me bring you to our summary. So this is what we've created so far. Is we've got our VPCs on one end and our on-premise data center on the other.
Yep.
And then what's going on is we've peered our customer router to the Amazon router, right? And it's going to flow through the partner network. And now we should be able to reach from this VPC to the on-premise environment. So we can test that out right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to EC2. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go. So I've got this router here. I've got my two routers. Oh, let's see if I'm connecting. This one is okay. I have my two routers on either end.
Okay.
So we can actually test ping 172.16.0.2. So this is the router over here.
Okay.
And we're getting a reply.
All
so
right,
that
good.
means that we are in good shape.
Yeah, I was going to say
Keep going.
it's returning data, so that's good.
Can do clear. Okay. So now we can kind of continue on to start to establish the connections.
Okay.
So we have connectivity, but we need to actually advertise routes. So what we need to be able to do is, so for example, I'm coming out from here out to the on-premise. I know now that we've set up that direct connect with the transit interface that I need to go out this way. But how does somebody on-premise know how to get to 172.30 and 172.31?
Oh, that's a good question.
So that is how we have to advertise this over BGP. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hold on. Start to set up our VIF on our router.
Okay.
So this is this is router 1, so we want to do 22.31. This is our VLAN. Sorry. So we're in configuration mode. I've updated the configuration there. And then I'm going to set up some additional BGP. So basically what I'm doing here is making sure that it's just going to advertise. It's not going to advertise the on-premise when I start BGP. So it's just making sure that there's not going to cause a routing loop or anything. So I'm going to configure BGP, which basically is I'm setting up the connection the same way that we set it up on the VIF. So we're setting up what's the ASN number, the password, and making sure that it's IPv4.
Okay.
So now I can save this. So we're committing the configuration. This is just like this is a kind of a faux router here. So now I should be able to ping 169.254.100.1, which is these routers over here.
Okay. Oh, not permitted.
Hold on. I gotta. Hold on. I want to get out of the. Hold on, ping. You can't. Oh, why is it saying I can't ping? Oh, sorry, I need to do run ping. Sorry. There we go. So connectivity is still working. So now we got to do the same thing for the other one. So just to confirm that everything is working, we have a BGP connection between these two. So again, BGP is just how we know that this is over here and this is over here. We're sharing routes to each other. So now if I look at my routes, oh my God, hold on. I keep typing too fast. These are our routes. So then we can see now 162.30 and 172.31 that this is over that router. And we can get to these addresses here. Make sense? How's that look, Samara?
It's looking good.
Okay.
So far, so good. So far, I'm able to follow it.
So now let's confirm that that's working. Let's confirm that that assumption is correct.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, this might be too zoomed in for me to find it. Come on. I've got my VPC1 instance, and I'm going to just connect to it.
Okay.
And we're just going to do a quick ping test. So we're going to ping.
It's not run ping.
Hold on. Actually, I'm going to do, no, this is a different, this is just EC2. This is just Linux. Actually, I'm going to do just a path test. So that's what the MTR command is. So we're going to 172.16.1.10. So again, 172.16.1.10 is on this side of the house. So we're going from Amazon, from your VPC to your on-prem.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm right here. Okay. And here we go. So we're able to make it. And we go over the pure routers 1 and 2. And we get there directly. So we've got connectivity. We've done it.
There you go. Everything worked out.
One setup. That's one side of the setup. Now the question is, can we do the other side of the setup? So this is what we have so far is we've now gotten to this point. We've got a traffic flow. Things are going back and forth, but we need to do the other side now. What?
You said, but we still have work to do.
We've still done work to do. So now what we're going to do is get onto the second router.
Okay.
Which it doesn't want to. Let me reload this. I want to go to router 2. So we're going to go to the second router and we're going to do the same thing we did
in the first one.
Except we're going to set the different. So I've got it. Oh, wait, hold on. I got ahead of myself. Hold on. So this is takes me back to my Cisco days. I don't know if folks have ever touched a router, a switch, a Wi-Fi access point. You got to go to the configuration mode. You can do shell commands, but you need the config mode. So we're doing config. And now that I've entered the config mode, I can make these changes. So we're going to make sure that we're setting the right VLAN ID, which is 1717. And then I'm going to set up all the other commands that we ran before.
Okay. Is this something that you used to do a lot in your prior experience, Matt?
Not BGP. BGP I would do like very rarely, but configuring switches and routers, yes, I used to do that all the time.
Muscle memory then.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of like a virtual type of interface. It's very different than the Cisco, but similar in some ways. So 254. So now I'm just going to confirm that our connection is working. And it is. We got
Okay.
that ping working properly. And then let's double check that our BGP has come up.
And just to remind our viewers tuning in today, if you have any questions or Matt kind of lost you at a certain step, feel free to drop your questions, your follow-ups to the different steps that we're going through today in the chat, and then I'll make them known to Matt so he can clarify it or, answer your questions.
So I'm just confirming that we've got all our BGP. So basically it's saying, hey, I know that 172.16 is here. We're still waiting on the other route.
Okay, so you only have one so far.
Yeah. So we need
there's got to be 3.
So here's the interesting thing. There's a reason why there's not another route on here. And that's because of this. I'll show you. So we just set this up. Now we're setting up. We just set this up. So now I've got, when I come out from AWS, I go out this primary path, and I can come in either way.
Oh.
But it's not bi-directional. So
it's
how
only
do
one.
we engineer this? So what we can do, this is the first step that we can take. So now we're in this pattern where we've got everything set up, and I'll show you just for everyone's. Oh, so this one is available. We're still down on this router. So let me double check, make sure we got everything figured.
Is it down? Is that the one that was deleted?
No, this is the one that's deleted. So
I see. I see.
Sure
okay.
that we've got everything in here first before we move on. Let's do this one more time. Oop. One sec.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in router 1. I went in router 2.
I was going to say, I think that this is because this one was showing.
So what I want, yeah, this is correct. Okay. We have that working properly. Let's see if you see. I'm just making sure that we're in good state. Okay, cool. And I see the routes here now.
Okay.
So we should be switching over momentarily. Yep, available.
Okay.
See, we just went too fast. So now we've got both of these available, but now we have to figure out how to engineer where the traffic is flowing and how.
Okay.
So the way that we can do that very quickly is we do something called a community preference. So we have something called BGP communities. And what that means is that we can set a preference from low, medium, or high. So that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to set my preference on router 1.
What would the low would be, like the last choice? How is that? Okay.
So for example, I'm setting, of course I forgot the configure again. Hold on. I got too quick. So right now what I'm doing is saying, set this community to 7224, which is the VLAN, or not the VLAN, the community tag, to 7200, which is medium preference. You can go 7100, 7200, 7300. The higher it is, the higher the preference is.
Okay.
So I'm going to then set that, like advertise that that's what I want. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, but I'm going to give this one 7100. So I'm going to give it a lower tag, which means that it's got less of a preference than router 1. So I'm going to commit and save these on both sides. So now I can check on our EC2 instance. Let's do the same test again, which way we're going. So now we're seeing that I'm going to 172.16.110, which is over here.
Okay.
So I'm going through this way. It's going through router 1, which is what is preferred.
Okay.
But that also means that we've got this setup, basically. It means that one's an active path and this one's only a backup path, which could be fine, but then you're paying double to not use this at all.
To not use that, exactly, not that direction at all.
So that becomes the question is like, what can we do to fix this, right? Because maybe I would rather have it to be 50-50. What can I do? What can I do to change that? And it's something very simple. It's something that we've just done, slightly tweaked.
Okay, so it's just kind of building on that priority that you have already set.
Yeah. So if I was to make this an equal priority, what would I do? What do you think, Samara?
Equal priority?
Oh. So I could just set them to the same thing.
You set them up to the same thing, but if you put them to be equal priority, how does it know which one to be like a preferred? It just doesn't matter which it goes through flow.
It'll just kind of randomize it.
It will just run. That's what I was getting at. It's just going to be a random choice at that point. Okay. Yeah.
So now I've made that change. I just said, hey, instead of 7,100, you're 7,200. Now it's equal.
Okay.
And so
it could be either way.
Let's try this again. Let's see where it's going. So it's coming from either or now. It's coming from either. Actually, I don't see.
Yeah, I don't see the other one.
The other one. Hold on. I didn't save it. Hold on. Let's try. Let's see if it did it live. Yeah, now you can see them now.
No, okay.
Immediately. See how I got extra ones now? I got 200 and 202. So it's only going out the other one now. But we have those paths. So we're sending on different flows, and it will kind of randomly choose between them. So now we've got something that looks closer to
the first one.
This. We got two active paths here. So not crazy. But now we're only doing this over from AWS
to the premise.
Yeah. So what if we swap that? So what if we took this, we wanted to prefer a specific path, but for AWS to on-prem. So what if we wanted to have it take a different route? So we have another tool in our BGP toolkit.
Okay.
And that is called path prepending. So I can make a path seem longer than it actually is by adding in another, what it thinks is a hop, but it isn't. So like I'm putting in a virtual router in between to say, hey, this one's, it's going to take you a little bit longer to get there when it actually isn't.
So it's kind of like a quick stop sort of situation.
Well, it's just another tool in your toolkit, right? Because now, while these are both preferred from the community level, I can make the first one less, what's the word? Less preferable.
Okay. And then I guess like in what use cases or why would you want it to be more than those two? I
So
guess
then,
like that's
what you're basically able to do is say from AWS out, maybe it takes one path, and then from on-premise to AWS, it takes a different path.
it did okay. All
So
right. I see what you're saying.
load share that way.
Sure.
Too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just like a splitting it rather than doing all through one area.
Mm-hmm. Or if you think about this from the perspective of you've got tons of different direct connects globally, how do you prefer one over the other? Like right now we're just doing 2, but what if there's 4? What if there's
what
8?
if you have like
one?
yeah, exactly, a number of them?
Yeah. So I added this prepending, and now what we can do is double check that worked.
Okay.
So I'm going to run this command on both routers just to see the routes. And what you can see here is that in the path column, oh wait, hold on, did I commit this? Let me commit first.
I don't see it. Yeah.
Let's run that again. Yeah. So basically, from one side, I see I, as in like we're the closest we can be. And on the other end, we see I got 65001, and then I get to it. So this seems like a longer path than
the previous one. Yeah.
So that's another way to control this. So if I go back to this instance, when we try to hit it again, it's preferring the 200 path as opposed to the 100 path. So we've now made it so that it looks like this. Again, now we've flipped the script. So now we have another active path and a backup path.
Okay. Now you're actually making use of those 2 connections rather than just one.
Yeah, exactly. And then the final piece here is we can do one more thing to influence this traffic, which is we can make it a more specific path.
Okay.
So that is what we will do.
So what do you mean by more specific?
So when you advertise a subnet, like the subnets over here, the more specific you get, like the higher the number on the right side, the more I'm going to prefer it.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So that's what I'm going to update now. I'm going to delete the prepend. So we're going to back out some of this information and then set these policies that will allow us to block the more specific prefix. So basically what I'm doing here is making this rule that's denying this. So I'm forcing the traffic to go to a different place.
Okay.
Which here, I'm going to then back out this change, go back to the older community. And then we're going to originate this route. So this is a more specific route. We blocked it on the other one. So now we should, from router 1,
I think you might have missed a number in the route.
I think we're okay. Hold on, let's see. So this looks good. So basically what
Okay.
we're saying is that I don't see that subnet here, but if I run the same thing here, now I know that I can basically I've taken over the route for both of these. So we've moved this over now to router 2. So if I go back to our instance, again, we're going to test where the traffic is going. Now I'm back to 100 again. So wait, hold on. Let me commit on this side. Hold on.
Oh, no. There you go.
Let me make sure that now we're seeing the right flow. Yep, we're back to 100. So then we've now turned this. Again, we've been playing around with this, but now we've changed the active one here and the active one here. So since I'm doing 172.16.1.10, I'm going through the 100. And if I change this one to 2.10, I'll go through 200.
To the 200s, yeah.
Okay. So now I think with a few minutes left, let's do a failover.
Oh, let's see. Let's go for it.
So what we want, actually, do I have enough time to, I'm going to do some quick cleanup before we fail over.
Okay.
So pardon me while I make sure that I get all the configuration ready, because we've been playing a lot with what's going where. So I want to make sure that we've got everything set up. So I did router 1. We're going to do router 2. Okay. So now I'm going to clean up some of this configuration.
Okay.
So I'm just resetting the BGP back to normal, essentially. So don't mind me with all my crazy commands.
I'm trying to follow along.
Well, this is really just to make sure that we're going back to that that original level.
The original, yes. Without all the specifications that you added prior.
Yeah, because what we're trying to demonstrate is there's all these different things in your toolkit that you can do to influence
that you
traffic.
could use, exactly.
But now that we're back to normal, let's just double check.
And this is like when we say back to normal, we're assuming that we're only using one of those connections. And what essentially Matt's going to do is showcase that we can fail over to the second one, correct?
So we're making sure that we've got connections on both sides now.
Okay.
That's what I'm making sure. So you can see here that I've got connections to 31 from one side. So you can see I've got 31 here.
Okay, yeah.
And then on this side, on 2, I'm going to check my connections, and I've got 30. So I've got one VPC on one side, one VPC on the other side. So what we want to do is make sure that everything's working properly before I take it all down and before we break everybody. So I'm going 110. This one goes through 100. And then this next one should go through 200.
Okay.
Ta-da. So we're looking in good shape. But now the question is, if I turn off router 1, will everything go over to router 2? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to basically turn off BGP, which means that I basically make this router not look like it doesn't exist anymore.
Okay. But you are only turning off one of them.
I'm only turning off one of them.
Okay.
So now we're testing the failover.
Okay.
So now I've done that. And so we're going to validate that router 1 that BGP is down. So this is all kind of, see all these asterisks, not good.
Also,
The only place
I was gonna say I was waiting for like the error message or something to come in, but that's pretty much what you will see.
It's basically going through router 2. See how it says next hop?
Next hop, okay, yeah.
Over here, that's router 2. So
okay.
If I do the same thing on router 2, now it'll go out its own connection. So what we'll check now is to make sure that I had 200, I had 100 on one and 200 on the other. And I have 200 on the first one and 200 on the second
200 on the second one. Yeah.
So now that we did that, we can restore that connectivity and try it again. So let me do that. Give me 1 sec.
Okay. Are you singing the elevator music?
Let's see if this command works.
Oh, we failed. Not valid.
I think I have to change the set. There we go. So I'm taking this back. I took out that it looks like I've got this back again. So 4 out 6 paths, 4 out 7 paths. And now if I try this one last time, if I want to go 110, going out 100.
Yeah, you have the 100.
And going out 210, going out 200.
To 200. Okay.
So what we've successfully done is configured both of these direct connects. So we did this, that we're able to fail over one of these fails, and this makes sure it continues to work bidirectionally, both sides. And that's how you traffic engineer, everyone.
Good job. You got all of this done right on time, I must say, with enough time to spare for, just some parting words of any recommendations, any other things that, our viewers need to be in the lookout or take into consideration whenever they're diving deep into Direct Connect and how to set up.
I would say, like, in real life, you want to make sure that what I just did, that you've tested it, because there's always going to be Direct Connect maintenance. And we'll send you a maintenance notification beforehand. So you want to make sure that you've got backups. And you also want to make sure that, you have 2 direct connects so you can do this engineering. Or if you don't have 2 direct connects, then at least you have something like a VPN that you can fall back to in case your direct connect goes down, which, again, for maintenance purposes, it might. So keep that in mind. This is a really cool service with a lot of flexibility, a lot of things to consider, but not a lot of this is new to networking people. I think a lot of folks come to the cloud and maybe they don't have any networking experience, and then this is all new and all crazy complicated. But in the end, all we're trying to do is make sure that you can get to AWS and AWS can get to you.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise today, Matt. And I think that I would also like to take the opportunity to remind our viewers that we will not be streaming next Monday, since it is a U.S. holiday. So for those of you that regularly tune in to watch us, we will not be here, but we will miss you all for sure.
I hope everyone in the U.S. has an awesome holiday next week, and then we'll be back with a new episode on June 2nd.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
Take care. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.